Michael Regan, Medicare and You. How can I help you?
Hey, Michael, it's Colleen.
Oh, yes. This is our prestigious guest, Colleen O'Neill, licensed clinical social worker, sex expert. Colleen, I've already cued you at the beginning of the hour. Our topic is sex and the senior. As you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be intercourse. Sex can be anything. It could be cuddling, kissing, laying naked next to each other, stroking, back rubs, any kind of contact, correct?
Correct. Passion is exercise in and of itself, just to create that passion in your life.
Good. Okay, so take it away. My listeners are anxiously waiting. I'm so psyched to hear your voice.
Well, we're living a lot longer, so obviously we are sexual human beings, and sex comes in many, many, many ways, and it starts really with our minds, and exercise starts with our minds, and we obviously have to keep our minds healthy and our bodies healthy, and we're having relationships a lot longer. Studies upon studies are done about the benefits of leading a healthy sexual life, less depression, better immune system. It's better for our stamina. Just in sexual, for our physicalities, you're using your buttocks, your pelvis, your thighs, your pulse rates. There was a study done at the Wilkes University in Pennsylvania for our immune system that, immunoglobulin A, which is for our antibodies, which supports the immune system, that there's more produced when we have sex. And for the elderly, it's better for your bladder control because you use those strengthens those muscles. I mean, I could go on and on about the benefits of incorporating sex in our lifestyles. Right. So it's just better all around. Actually, men live longer. The mortality rate for men is higher than those who lead less sexually active lives.
And that was in an AARP study, Sexuality at Midlife and Beyond, in 2005. I read that article myself. Yeah. Absolutely. AARP has proven that it just helps your whole disposition. You feel better after you've been intimate with your partner.
Yeah, well, especially for women, the oxytocin, just like when we breastfeed in our younger years, oxytocin is released for women when we are sexually active, and again, that produces those feelings just like when we're breastfeeding, when we're sexually active for women, and just makes you feel better. So there's so many benefits to being sexually active at all ages, but certainly into our older years. There's no reason not to keep that lifestyle going as long as we can.
And what is the negative stigma associated with this? These are some of the articles I was reading. Horny old broads, dirty old men. These commonly used terms speak volumes about how society views the older people interested in sex. That is so foolish. What's wrong with the older senior making love? Why does society feel they're why?
Well, I think, our society, because again, I don't think that happens globally, but I think...
No, it's not in Europe for sure.
Right. And I think it's our society that as we get older, we don't honor the elderly. We don't honor older people as being wiser and what they have to offer and whatnot. You put them in nursing homes, you separate them out, you don't... So even in that regard, everybody's separated out, and communal living would be to me the way to go on that one. But
there you go.
We don't raise our children to look at elderly as vibrant and that they have things to offer the community, and it's getting better, I think, as we put more into the aging community and geriatric studies, and I know down at Columbia University.
Yes. I read the same geriatric study, Dr. Walter M. Bortz. His exact words were, use it or lose it.
Right.
Nice, Colleen.
It's true. See? So I we're getting better. I think we're catching up with European mentality,
yes,
finally. But it's a shame because we're living a lot longer here, and we're going to be around. I mean, you're 45, I'm 50. I certainly, if this is what 50 feels like, it's certainly young.
Yes, and you look young. And I credit you with, you don't eat much food, food drags you down. You just light meals. You also look like you exercise regularly. Your skin tone is phenomenal. You look healthy. You look like you're 40. So, not saying you're making love, but whatever you're doing, my seniors should be emulating that because you look great. You're intelligent. Also, conversation helps. There was a lot of studies saying that communication also helps the woman because after menopause, women have a bit of a tendency to have some problems where they'll need a little lubrication. Well, one of the lubricants was excellent stimulating conversation in my studies that I found. So,
yes. Well, women like conversation, period.
Right.
So that definitely comes into play. I mean, we are, by nature, we are creatures of conversation. And so getting people in our lives, especially men, that we're interested in talking with us and
right. Engaging.
Engaging in conversation, and being stimulated and interesting. And men are interesting. Men have things to offer and talk about. And obviously, as we get older, everyone's got a life story. Everyone has things to share by now. And we're interested in what people have to say. And that's the beauty of your sexuality, is what you're bringing to the table.
Right.
Not what you can really do in bed, but what you can bring to the table to share.
That part of my studying with Viagra and Levitra and Cialis and all the lubricants and elasticity, like I can't say a name because they're not a sponsor of ours, but there's a particular 2-initial jelly. That's a popular jelly. You could say it. All these things didn't increase. It doesn't matter if you can go 5 minutes, a half hour. It was the actual act of performing lovemaking that most of the studies kept back. I have a few examples here. AARP, Modern Maturity Sexuality Survey. Eric Frieder, Sexual Behavior, Middle Age and Older. Erectile dysfunctions, not a problem. Make it work. That was a Mayo Clinic study. All the studies show any type of sex is better than no sex.
Oh, any kind of touch.
Right. Because you actually took the chance to, even the older days, I strike up with my clients, and they still are not comfortable just proposing, hey, let's go make love. Or, wow, you look really good. Like, let's just try to have a little half hour of intimacy. Let's just go lay in the bed naked. People are not comfortable talking about it. The phone hasn't rang once, and I talk about a prescription problem, and the phone's light off the board. Oh, I couldn't get that prescription filled either. So there is a sense of shyness. Have you ever been lucky enough, Colleen, to go to Paris or go to Spain?
Yes, I've been to Paris. I have not been to Spain.
I haven't been to Paris, but I've been to Spain. So either one. When we were in Spain, no lie, we were in a city called Barcelona, or if you want to say it the Catalan way, Barcelona. Their attitude, or Italy, I've heard Italy is as well, but their attitude towards sex, I'm going to say the word sex, is wide open. Men respect women. Women are free to show their tops. They don't wear their tops on the beach because they grew up comfortable in their sexuality. You don't have to be this ripped, perfect bodybuilder to attract anybody. You can be curvy. That is just totally fine. The curvy women are just as desired as the perfect 34 or 36, whatever the human being thinks is a perfect breast. It doesn't matter. As long as you find a mate that's attracted to you, then in Europe, they were just so much more open to it. They were free. They would kiss all the time. And they also don't follow all rules as far as eating is concerned. They eat a bigger lunch and then a light dinner. I'm sure a huge dinner is going to deter your sex drive come 9 o'clock when all you want to do is just fall asleep from the tryptophan. So they also drink light amounts of sangria and wine and beer. They just seem to be having more fun than us uptight, stuffy Americans. And not that they've got everything right, but when it comes to sex, they seem to be a little more liberal.
Well, yeah, I think they can tell the truth to one another about what they want in a relationship, what they're looking for from their partner. I think it's much more open over there. And again, that goes back to how we're kind of raised here, a little more uptight about things. And especially, you know, when we're talking about like 50 and over here, it's just, you know, obviously I have a daughter who's 22. It's a different generation about they're more open about things. They're willing to talk more. I think it's going to work better for their generation when they're considered older. But I think we have definitely missed out.
We did, because we were always told no, 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 no.
Right.
Because our parents just wanted to protect us so much that even a condom in middle school, they're like, where did you get that? I was not making love in middle school, I swear on my life. But, you know, my friends had older brothers and sisters, and they're like, listen, if you're going to use this. My parents flipped out because I had a condom.
Right.
And that's a first line of protection. Instead, they should have been like, this is smart. We hope you're not sexually active at least till your senior year of high school, if you're going to be. But yes, this is a form of protection, and this won't get a woman pregnant, and then you can continue on unless you want to have children. Yeah, there just needs to be, like your daughter, I'm sure, they chat on the text. She may be, which in our day we would never have, a woman would give a gentleman their phone number, say, I think you're attractive, here's my phone number. In our day, you had to work really hard to even just somehow, you had to tell your best friend to tell her best friend that you liked her. It was just hard to communicate.
Yeah, and it's so hard for people to even communicate about what they enjoy and what they like physically and what they like about touch and what they like about what feels good on their bodies. But a lot of us don't even know our own bodies to even be able to communicate that to their partners.
That is so sad.
Or they've been with a partner for 25 years and that partner has passed on, or they've gone through a divorce, or 30 years or more, and they've never really explored that with themselves, or been able to communicate that to someone new. So the world's a different place for someone coming either new into dating, or they've been widowed and they don't know how to go about doing that. And so it's complicated. It's not so easy. I mean, it's easy to talk about, but it's not so easy just to step into that world for a lot of people.
And a lot of the, I was reading, and this is a terrible crime because it just shouldn't be this way, but a lot of my reading found that the women assumed they were too old because the men were getting younger women. Never assume you're too old. You are beautiful in yourself. Strut your stuff. This woman's 74 years old. She's an author in San Diego. And she said, I've had 2 20-year husbands, and I still am horny. I still want to make love. It doesn't matter that both of them have died. I'm alive. I still want to be alive. 74, that sounds great. Not that saying she's going to go out and have 7 or 8 partners a day, but who cares? It's not our business. If she is choosing to use her body in a proactive way to make herself feel better and sex makes her feel good, go for it. There is such a stigma in America that it's bad, that you must cover up. You have to realize that women also want attention. If you are constantly pushing them down and trying to keep them down and not telling them how beautiful they are and, oh, that looks good on you, or, honey, you should definitely wear that more often, give them the confidence to let their sexuality show through.
Right, and I mean, imperfection, we all have it, and that's simply part of being human. And the beautiful part is that someone's going to love our imperfection.
Right. I hope so.
Someone loves yours, Michael.
Well, what's the most important? Yeah, I'm very blessed, honestly.
Right.
What's the most important thing a single person can do? Not obviously go to every bar in town, but as a licensed clinical social worker, what are your suggestions? What can they do to start being more sexually active, trying to find a partner, other than just going to the Vic House or to, not to bash the Vic House, I love the Vic House, but there has to be another way. These people, I'll tell you some of their dating tips. They're asking people out in the grocery stores. They are getting cards printed up with a picture of themselves and their phone number. Very proactive. That's a California thing, but very proactive so the other individual can remember what you look like and have access to a phone.
That's very smart.
Yes.
Yep, you can put your phone number. If you don't want to put your phone number, then just put your email address.
Email address. And then start the baby steps way. Like, why don't you just give me a little chat? And then all of a sudden you find yourself chatting. Let's meet in the park, or let's meet at the Y, go for a swim. Let's do something to interact, and maybe we can catch a conversation and a cup of coffee.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, join a club that you have an interest in. People do hiking clubs. They do meetup.com. Meetups are clubs that you're kind of interested in. So if you're in people have dinners, so it's wine tasting clubs. If you're into dating sites, obviously there are lots of dating sites out there for that. If you want to spend a little more money and do just for lunch kind of dates, you can do those kinds of things. You know, I think there's so many ways to meet people. Let your friends and family know that you are interested.
And ask them for help. Stop assuming they're going to help you. If you don't ask, squeaky wheel doesn't get the grease.
Right. And people were not going to just fix you up just because they know you're single, because people might not think that you are interested in finding somebody. You have to be proactive. You definitely have to be proactive in trying to find somebody. And you will find, but you have to be ready and open to finding somebody. And that's the thing. You have to be willing. So if you're not willing, don't put yourself out there.
Okay, so now let me have you plug your firm. The phone lines are not lighting up because people are afraid of this topic, which stinks because it's hard.
People don't like the topic of dating.
It's hard. It's hard to get you on the line. I've waited patiently.
You can reach me at Westport Family Therapy at gmail.com.
Westport Family Therapy at Gmail, which is the googlemail.com. You have any other topics you want to go over?
No, unless your listeners have anything else to go over. I think that's a great topic, and I think it's one that you should keep bringing up, Michael, because obviously
I have to.
The more you can bring it up, I think maybe the more your listeners might call in. You know, I do a lot of marital work, and a lot of times couples don't take the time to plan date nights, and I am a big fan of couples making time to at least go out once a week. It doesn't have to be expensive, but making time to plan a date night just to go on a picnic or bring some romance back into the relationship so that you can bring some passion back into these relationships that I think can kind of get dull and boring. And
it does.
One partner's waiting for the next one to do it. And someone take the initiative to go on a picnic, a nice dinner, or go to the beach. But do something that reminded you of being together back in the day, whatever that was, something special. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I know times are tight for a lot of people, but take the effort to plan something nice. That's thoughtful, and thoughtful doesn't mean it takes a lot of money to do that.
And for you men out there, I hate to say it, but this is you at least 60%. You are the man. You've been lucky enough to be born the man. Own it and get some flowers. Yes, don't rely on your wife to do everything, because the woman still wants to be courted. She's a lady. It is your job. So I have no discrimination. Some of my best friends are gay. 2 men, that's fine with me. 2 women are fine with me. Domestic partners, if you don't want to get married, that's fine with me. But the dominant one in the group needs to make an effort and needs to do it and not delay it. If you keep delaying it, sooner or later, your partner's going to get disinterested and say, well, he or she doesn't care about me, and I'm not feeling cared about. And that leads to depression, and it leads to drug taking, it leads to sedentary lifestyle, it leads to diabetes, it leads to more depression, it leads to people hanging themselves like poor Robin Williams. Let's not let it escalate. If your honey doesn't want a back rub, hun, can I do a load of laundry? Can I empty the dishwasher? You better be cutting the lawn anyway and shoveling the driveway. But when you cross over and start helping them with some of their duties, you get it good. All right. Sex is important. Sex and the senior was the topic today. Colleen, you are such a beautiful woman. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Colleen O'Neill
Take care.
out of Westport. Talk to you soon.